Hello there and welcome to today's hypnosis lesson. Today we'll be talking about the wake-up process, as in how do you get a person back out of hypnosis once you put them under. Now, before we get into what you say to wake a person up, there is a very, very common misconception that a huge number of people have that we need to dispel. And this is the idea that it is somehow possible to get stuck in a state of hypnosis. Now that simply isn't true. You cannot get stuck in hypnosis. If a person hypnotises you and then they sneak away, you're not going to be stuck there until they come back and wake you up. One of the ways that you might like to think about this is to compare hypnosis to meditation. The goal of meditation is to prolong that state, to stay in that state for as long as you can. And if you're very well trained and very disciplined, then you can do this. But nobody's going to stay in meditation for a huge amount of time. If they wanted to bring themselves out, there's going to be no problem with that. It's quite similar with hypnosis. When you hypnotise a person, you're guiding them into that altered state of consciousness. And the things that you say to them are helping to keep them there. But if you stop saying those things and you move yourself away from this person, it's very unlikely that they're going to be able to maintain that state on their own for any lengthy amount of time. If you were to do that, or if somebody did it to you, one of a few things are likely to happen. Very probably the person will wake up instantly when they realise you've gone. Or they'll wake up when they become uncomfortable, too hot, too cold, need the toilet, anything like that. Or they'll get bored of what you've asked them to do and they'll just wake up after a certain amount of time. Or what could happen, if they are particularly tired, they might fall into normal sleep, just like they do every night when they go through the hypnagogic state, and then they'd wake up once rested in the usual way. On very rare occasions, you will get a person who is enjoying the trance state so much that they won't want to wake up when you ask them to. Now, if that happens with you, don't worry about it at all. If you've got the time, then tell the person they can continue to enjoy the hypnotic state and use it in a very positive and productive way to make positive life changes, and when they're ready, they can open their eyes and bring themselves back to normal waking consciousness. If you do that, it's also a good idea once they do open their eyes to then go through a proper wake-up script to really bring them back to full consciousness, rather than them sending them away half in a daze if perhaps they've got to drive home or something like that. If you're in a situation where you don't have the time to do this and you do need them to wake up, then you can simply go through the wake-up script again a bit more enthusiastically, and if that fails, just treat it like a person that's normally fallen asleep. Give them a nudge. Threaten to throw a bucket of cold icy water over them. They'll soon snap out of it. The simple truth is they're not going to get stuck. So I know that's a very common fear that a lot of people have. So it is one of those things that you might want to talk to your client about before the induction, just in case they're a bit worried about that, because they'll be unlikely to relax into trance if they think there's a possibility of not coming back out of it. So that's that misconception dealt with. Now, how exactly do you wake a person from hypnosis? Well, in all honesty, it's incredibly simple. You could just say, eyes open, wide awake. In a stage hypnotic routine, most people are that quick, very flippant about it. On the count of 3, eyes open, wide awake. 1, 2, 3, eyes open, wide awake. Some people just do it that quickly, and that's perfectly okay. What I recommend is the way that you've hypnotised a person is to slowly take them down into trance. So slowly bring them back up again. So if you've counted them down, why not count them back up? So you could say, in a few moments, I count up from 1 to 5. On the number 5, you'll be back in the room, fully conscious, wide awake and feeling wonderful. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Eyes open, wide awake, feeling great. There's nothing wrong with that, perfectly okay script to use, but you're missing an opportunity. What you can do is to put in some post-hypnotic suggestions in between those numbers so the person wakes up feeling wonderful. So on the count of 3, you'll wake up feeling refreshed, relaxed and alert. 1, feeling wonderful about your life and becoming aware of your body and the position of your arms. 2, really looking forward to all the amazing changes that you've made today. Aware of the position of your body, slowly opening your eyes now. And 3, eyes open, back in the room, wide awake. So something like that can bring them back up, feeling really good about the session that you've been doing with them. So that's kind of all there is to it today. It's a really short lesson. It's a very, very simple subject, but there is something that I just wanted to share with you because it really did amuse me. This was a friend of mine who had gone to see a hypnotherapist many years before I met him. And when we became friends and he knew that I was interested in hypnosis, he gave me some cassettes from his hypnotherapy sessions, saying, do you want to have a little bit of listen to these, because it was something I was interested in. And one of the cassettes was just a session that the guy had gone to, and at the end it said, on the count of 3, you will awaken and be back in the room fully wide awake. 1, 2, and then the tape stopped, which really tickled me. There's obviously, because he didn't count to 3 doesn't mean he's not going to wake up, but I did find it quite amusing. A little bit unfortunate timing there, 1, 2, and then just a click. But of course, if my friend, when he listened to that cassette, he didn't stay in trance because the hypnotist never managed to squeeze the number 3 onto the tape. He did wake up at the end of the tape every time, simply because the suggestion is there, you're going to wake up. We don't need it that literal that we won't wake up if the last number's not said. So rest assured that when you hypnotise a person, they're not going to get stuck in trance. You can bring them back up just by raising your voice, talking a little bit quicker, telling them they'll wake up, and then counting upwards. It's a good idea to bring them back with some really nice, positive, encouraging suggestions, but there isn't anything to worry about. But you do need to bear in mind that most of the people that you'll be hypnotising probably will believe at some level that they can possibly get stuck in hypnosis. So when you do the pre-talk, which is something we've not really talked too much about yet, but at that stage before you start formal induction, you can tell them that it's impossible to get stuck in a state of hypnosis, and just let them know what would happen if you were taken away. Let's say if you were abducted. So if you were completely removed from that situation, they can be completely safe knowing that they will wake up out of hypnosis, or if they're really tired, they would fall asleep and go into a normal state of sleep and then wake up once rested in the normal way. So that's all for today. Nice quick one for you. I'll see you again tomorrow. You take care and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.